Now at 5 o'clock, it is day 7 of the impeachment trial of suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton.
And there are some breaking new details in the last couple of minutes as the witness who is alleged to have had an affair with Ken Paxton may not be testifying today. So let's get Jack Fink. He has stepped out of chambers. I know you've been inside all day listening to testimony so far. What is going on right now?
Well, Doug and Nicole, moments ago, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced that Laura Olson will not be available to testify. He didn't really explain himself other than to say that lawyers for the House and for Paxton have agreed to this. And, you know, this is really a surprising development because earlier in the day, the House said they were going to call Laura Olson to testify about the alleged affair she had with Ken Paxton. And this is really one of the most anticipated moments of the trial because it involves one of the impeachment articles against the suspended Attorney General, and that is constitutional bribery. Now, the impeachment says that Paxton benefited from one of his campaign donors, Nate Paul, who hired Olson at his Austin firm. The House prosecutors have said that made it easier for Paxton to see her because until then, she had been living in San Antonio. Earlier in the day, Paxton's former executive aide, Andrew Wicker, testified that he and his dad saw Olson and Paxton together in the summer of 2020 coming out of an elevator at the Omni Hotel where Paxton had been staying while his Austin house was being repaired following storm damages to the master bedroom.
My father and I heard a lively discussion, just to be clear, not adversarial, just lively. And whenever the doors opened, 2 individuals exited. One was General Paxton. He was in workout attire, and he told us that he was going to the gym. The other individual was in a dress and high heels and exited rather quickly.
Wicker testified that while staying at the hotel, Paxton had called off his security detail and that he drove Paxton to and from that hotel each day instead. Wicker said he expressed concerns about this to his direct supervisor. Now, Paxton's attorneys did not ask Wicker about the alleged affair during their cross-examination. The Attorney General's former top deputies have all been testifying, including one who's on the stand now, about the various ways Paxton abused his office to help Nate Paul out. And if Paxton is convicted on any of these articles of impeachment, he would be removed from his office, and in addition, he may also be disqualified from ever holding state office again. Doug, Nicole?
Can we just ask you your sense on the breaking news part of this, and that is the woman who had the alleged affair is not going to testify, at least at the moment. I guess who wins and maybe who loses in that, if we could even read into that at all, since it sounds like what you said is both sides have agreed to the fact that she's not going to testify.
Yeah, this is very surprising, and I was just talking to one of our legal analysts, David Cole, right before we went on air to ask him about this, and he said perhaps that Laura Olson was prepared to take the fifth, and so nothing would really come out of this. But I think this could be a very big blow to the House impeachment managers because this is, you know, the alleged affair is one of the ways in which they say Nate Paul tried to help out Ken Paxton. And for much of the trial, we've heard how Ken Paxton, from his former top deputies, was using his office to help Nate Paul out. The constitutional bribery impeachment article was really focused on how Nate Paul was supposedly helping out Ken Paxton. And so without this being there, this could be a very damaging blow to that regard. But again, Doug, senators are going to have to make this decision. They're the ones who are going to have to decide. They're going to have to weigh all this evidence and all the other testimony and decide whether they are reasons enough to remove Paxton from office.
Yeah, a really interesting twist, kind of going along with some of the other testimony that we heard earlier today. It was very interesting and intense. So, Jack, we appreciate you being our eyes and ears. We'll check back in with you when we can.
Yeah, so much in this trial we've seen coming, but this one we didn't see coming.
Not at all.
As always, we stream daily the coverage of the impeachment trial. If they're in session, we're on the stream live each day on our CBS News Texas YouTube channel.
So it might be